general public. To enroll in this program, you need 5 credits in English, mathematics, and any other 3 subjects. To enroll, apply directly online via nipasis.nipa.ac.zm or download an application form from our website www.nipa.ac.zm. Contact the administration office at 0767 670 985. NIPA, where excellence meets probity.
The National Health Insurance Management Authority, NEMA, hereby informs the public that with effect from the 1st of January 2024, the buyback option will no longer be available. This means that newly registered NEMA members will not be able to simply pay for the previous 4 months as means of gaining immediate access to NEMA insured health services. Instead, they will be required to undergo a 4-month waiting period from date of registration, during which they're expected to make 4 consecutive monthly contributions for their NEMA accounts to be activated for use. Register and start contributing today. Don't wait until you fall sick. National Health Insurance, leaving no one behind.
NEMA Health Insurance. Protect your family.
Wow, that over there is a very nice Ford. Have you seen it?
Of course. I have been looking at it since we got here. My worry is how people manage such vehicles and where they buy genuine parts from.
I'm sure there's nowhere else apart from Shuma Auto Parts. They are the only supplier of genuine Ford and Mazda parts, which comes straight from the manufacturer. They have everything in stock for both latest and ordinary Mazda and Ford. They also stock service parts such as diesel filters, air con filters, diesel pumps, steering pumps, turbochargers, engine overhaul gaskets, suspension parts, and body parts. If they don't have parts you're looking for, they can order within 5 to 10 working days. To top it up, Shuma Auto Parts also supply Maxxis tires and CST tires.
Really? But where are they found?
They are found on Chandram Sonda Road, Cruiser Auto Workshop in Lusaka. Call on 0979 192057 and 0960747235. Email shumaautoparts@gmail.com. Shuma Auto Parts for all your genuine vehicle parts.
The Happy World of 5FM Radio, your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM main news at 18:30 with Judith Mwape. The headlines. Zambia seeks to boost cooperation with Finland in mining industry. Opposition political parties urged to desist from politicizing the country's food security. Talks open between Ethiopia and Tigray authorities. And now the news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has underlined the need for Zambia and Finland to enhance their cooperation and partnership, especially in the mining sector. Speaking during a meeting with the Finland Parliamentary Finance Committee at State House this afternoon, President Hichilema has acknowledged Finland's expertise in the mining field, from which Zambia can tap from as a mining country. The president has observed that while the country is working towards diversification of its economy, Zambia remains a mining-dependent country. Hence, it is imperative that the two nations enhance their cooperation in area of mineral mapping, geological mapping, and water mapping, given the challenges of climate change. The head of state is confident that this will help the country address the macroeconomic challenges it is currently facing. President Hichilema further urged the delegation delegation to work together with the government in areas of forestry and weather forecasting to assist the agriculture sector players to improve in the management of their enterprises.
As you know, we are a mining country. We're working on diversification, but we remain a mining country. So it's important that we enhance our cooperation in the area of mining, mapping, mineral mapping, geological mapping, for not just minerals, but given the challenges of climate change, also water mapping. For surface water is straightforward, but groundwater is equally important in order for us to address, obviously, the macro issues you raised. But now, and if it wasn't for the drought this year, the country was going to harvest the largest quantum of crops.
The government has urged the opposition political parties to desist from politicizing the country's food security. Information Minister Cornelius Mwetwa regrets that some political leaders want to gain political mileage out of a national calamity by claiming that all the maize stocks which were being held by the Food Reserve Agency have been depleted because the UPND administration has exported the commodity. Mr. Mwetwa states that national food security borders on national security itself, hence making unguided and unsubstantiated statements is not only uncalled for but also regrettable. Mr. Mwetwa, who is also chief government spokesperson, has reassured that at present the country has sufficient food as it has not run out of maize stock. He said this when he visited Kalomo district today on a fact-finding tour about the drought situation, its effects, and assess the maize stock that the FRA may have in the district. The minister said the stock at Kalomo is evidence that the government is ready to ensure that no one dies of hunger.
Commentators on our maize and mealie meal and food situation in the country, particularly our colleagues in the opposition, not to politicize the food security situation of the country, because we do presently have enough food. We've not run out of maize. National food security borders on national security itself, and therefore making unguarded and unsubstantiatable claims to the public when you are a political figurehead that people may follow that what you are saying is true is uncalled for, unfortunate, and regrettable.
Police are looking for a 33-year-old man of Lusaka's Kalikiliki compound, identified as Moffat Zulu, in connection with the murder of his girlfriend, Florence Mulemasaka, aged 30, of Mtendere East in Lusaka. The deceased was found unconscious inside the room of the suspect yesterday around 12:30 hours by one of the neighbors. Deputy Police Public Relations Officer Danny Mwale, who has confirmed the development, explains that police officers who visited the scene found the victim lying unresponsive on the bed, facing upwards, and discovered bloodstains on the mattress, bedsheets, and the curtain, while the suspect had run away. Mr. Mwale disclosed that investigations have revealed that the suspect has been staying with the girlfriend from 7th March 2024, and on 10th March 2024 around 12:30 hours, he told his 64-year-old father that the girlfriend was unwell and that he needed money to take her to the hospital.
He told his 64-year-old father that the girlfriend was unwell and that he needed money to take her to the hospital. The father approached one of the neighbors for help, and the taxi was called. While waiting for the taxi, the said neighbor went to check on the patient only to discover that she was unconscious. Police officers rushed the victim to the hospital where she was pronounced dead upon arrival. The body was deposited in the University Teaching Hospital mortuary awaiting formal identification and post-mortem.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mwale says a 29-year-old woman identified as Edna Lungu has died while seated inside her boyfriend's car. The incident occurred on 9th March 2024 around 21:50 hours in Lusaka's Kawata area.
And the 29-year-old woman, only identified as Edina Lungu, died while seated inside her boyfriend's car. The incident occurred on March 9, 2024, around 21:50 hours in Lusaka's Kawata area. Preliminary investigations indicate that the deceased was drinking beer with her boyfriend, aged 36, of Libala South area in Lusaka, and around 21:50 hours, she is alleged to have collapsed while seated inside the car, and the boyfriend immediately rushed her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. The body is in UTH mortuary awaiting post-mortem.
Minister of Labour and Social Security Brenda Tambatamba has called on church members in Kasempa district to actively participate in developmental initiatives taking place in the constituency. Ms. Tambatamba notes that the government has created avenues for people of Kasempa to utilize, most especially the women and youths, including church members. She said this during the Sunday church service at the New Apostolic Central Church in Kasempa district. Ms. Tambatamba assured the congregants that the government was actively dedicated to improving the lives of all Zambians, despite the challenges being faced due to the debt restructuring that the government inherited from the PF regime. Speaking at the same event, Shepherd Finian Musumali explained that his church has an open-door policy to work with the government as key partners in sustainable economic development. Lumezi District Education Board Secretary Misozi Mwenya says the Uplift project being implemented by World Vision Zambia and the Forum for African Women Educationalists in Zambia has been instrumental in improving the standards of education in the district. Ms. Mwenya says partnerships are crucial if the country is to record progress towards achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which aims at achieving inclusive and quality education for all by 2030. World Vision and the Forum for African Women Educationalists in Zambia have been implementing a 3-year, €1.3 million uplift education project targeting 1,750 pupils in 120 schools based in Lumezi and Lundazi districts in Eastern Province.
Uplift is doing a lot of things, not just the provision of education materials like uniform, but they are also into water and sanitation. They've helped a lot of schools, especially in Chikomeni zone, and they've done a lot of trainings for our teachers, especially EC teachers, because they are into ECE, and they've provided a lot of teaching and learning materials. Right now, as I'm talking, in cooperation with FAWEZA, they are providing uniforms, and these are being given to orphaned and vulnerable children.
Meanwhile, at FAWEZA Lumezi District Uplift Education Project, Program Officer Deborah Mushilingwa says stakeholder cooperation is vital towards achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 4 on education.
Easy, especially for the area that we are visiting here, Kazembe. It's one of the toughest places to touch. So with the free education, it does not cater for the stationery for the children. It does not cater for the sanitary pads. So that is why we had to include also stationery, which is the books, the bags, and the pens.
In other stories trending this evening, the Ministry of Finance and National Planning has disclosed that it released 11.7 billion kwacha to finance public service delivery, of which 2.1 billion kwacha went towards transfers, subsidies, and social benefits last month. The commissioners of the Human Rights Commission have unanimously resolved to suspend the Commission Director, Sindiso Sichone, in order to facilitate an independent disciplinary process against her. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The Zambia Tourism Agency has partnered with ASR Bundesverband, a Germany-based tourism organization, to promote Zambia as a destination of choice. The partnership was sealed on the sidelines of the just-ended ITB Berlin Tourism Trade Show in Germany and was graced by Tourism Permanent Secretary Evans Muhanga, who promoted Zambia at the event and showcased what the country was offering to the European market. Mr. Muhanga explained that ASR is an alliance of all travel traders in Germany that do outbound tourism by sending tourists to many other African countries. He said Zambia has to tap into a network of traders to ensure that it is marketed and starts having the familiarization education tours. Mr. Muhanga outlined Zambia's authentic tourism products that the country offers and that it is important to interact with the traders because they recommend the destinations to the potential tourists.
This is basically an alliance of many independent traders, and it's important to interact with the trade because they are the ones that recommend the destination. And obviously, people want to have confidence with somebody that they know. So those who sell destination Africa, we just want them to make sure that they have Zambia. That was the whole essence of having a conversation, networking with them, and we came with all our 22 private sector players that we came with here at ITB Berlin.
That ends the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
And now in foreign news, representatives from Ethiopia's federal government and the Tigray regional state have started talks in Addis Ababa to end the delays in implementing the Pretoria Peace Agreement. The deal, brokered between the two parties and signed in South Africa in November 2022, aims to bring stability to the region after the conflict between the Tigray People's Liberation Front and the federal government that started in November 2020. Challenges in implementing the agreement have caused tensions, prompting the African Union to mediate discussions to find a resolution. The Pretoria Agreement addresses issues such as power sharing, regional autonomy, and resource control, aimed at resolving the conflict's root causes through negotiations. Here's a roundup from the BBC.
The newly appointed U.S. Special Envoy to Sudan has begun a diplomatic tour of East Africa and the Gulf. Tom Perriello's trip comes weeks before the first anniversary of Sudan's civil war and shortly after the UN Security Council's call for a ceasefire during the holy month of Ramadan. Passengers on a LATAM flight between Australia and New Zealand say they were told by the pilot that his instrument panel went momentarily blank when the plane suddenly lost altitude. Witnesses describe people being thrown across the cabin, leaving blood on the ceiling. Dozens of passengers and crew on the Boeing 787 Dreamliner required treatment on landing in Auckland. The Italian football club Lecce has sacked its manager for headbutting a rival team's player after a match. Roberto De Versa said he'd only been protecting his players but apologised in social media. The Verona striker Thomas Henry said he'd been attacked as he was making his way towards the dressing rooms. Both men received red cards for their behaviour.
And finally, in sports news, Chipolopolo coach Avram Grant has named his 24-member provisional squad for the FIFA Window Four Nations tournament to be staged in Malawi. Grant has named a blend of players from the Côte d'Ivoire 2023 Africa Cup of Nations campaign and newbies for the tournament. Zambia will join hosts Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Kenya in a tournament being used as a part of preparation for the June round of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. The Malawi tournament will take place from March 18th to 26th and will see each of the four nations play at least 2 games. The Chipolopolo will be away to Morocco before hosting Tanzania at home in Group E encounters during the window June 3rd to 11th. And now the weather report brought to you by Classicon.
Classico Roofing Africa.
Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy.
Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
Moderate, relatively moist airflow from the northeast continues to influence the weather over most parts of Zambia, resulting in mainly cloudy weather conditions with isolated rainfall. Luapula, Northern and Mochinga provinces, including the northern parts of northwestern and Copperbelt provinces, are partly cloudy, slightly windy and mild, with isolated rain and occasional thunder. Western, southern, Lusaka, central and eastern provinces, including the southern parts of northwestern and Copperbelt provinces, have few clouds, becoming partly cloudy by dawn, windy at times, and mild with a chance of isolated rain. That ends the weather report.
Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa.
Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy.
Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
And that weather report brings us to the end of the news this evening. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. Zambia seeks to boost cooperation with Finland in mining industry. Opposition political parties urged to desist from politicizing the country's food security. Talks between Ethiopia and Tigray authorities. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. I'm Judith Mwape. Good evening.